Well, bits and pieces of it and various aspects of the rebuild along the way have been seen in a few of my videos, and we've even had the first unsuccessful start attempt followed by the second attempt, which was successful. And now at last, having been up and down the lane on it a few times and checked it over and made a few adjustments, I'm confident enough to go a short way out the village on it. I'm not going to do my usual test circuit. I'll do a part of it and turn around and come back. It's a 1930 Royal Enfield Model K, 1000cc. It's actually very similar to a Sunbeam that my great grandfather used to own, which I think was a bit older as it was a flat tanker. So it's nice to be able to ride something a bit like what he had. His had a big sidecar on it, which is what this was intended for originally. But obviously we're going to be riding it solo now. So I'll try not to bungle the gears and wobble around too much, but it's another hand change machine. I've worked on a few. It's not the oldest. They go back to 1926, I think, was the oldest. An AJS that I worked on. That was a lot smaller. This is actually, I think, the biggest capacity engine bike I've ever ridden at 1000cc. Let's give it a short ride anyway. And I've not only got to turn the fuel on, but I've got to turn the oil on as well, because it's got total loss oiling from a compartment in what looks like the fuel tank. But notice the two filler caps, one's for petrol and one's for the oil. Let's get my gloves on and we'll give it a go. I'm looking forward to this, but also with some trepidation as well. But it's time to do it. It seems to start okay on full advance, especially when it's warm. Just turning the oil and the fuel on. It likes to have the carburetor tickled for pretty much every start. Let's see what happens. went rather well. Glad I didn't choose to go any further. I almost did, and we got a puncture in the front tyre. I thought it was starting to feel a little bit strange as we came in through the village. Seemed to be wandering and wallowing and twitching a bit. So obviously I've got a, well, I won't say I've got a puncture to deal with because it'll have a new inner tube, because I don't know how long that one might have been in there, and we don't want any mishaps, especially with the front end. So that wheel will be coming off. I'll be sticking a new inner tube in that. I'll just put the camera down a moment, as I think we've probably got plenty of time left on it, and I can start it again and set a full retard. At the moment, and just look at the sky amongst yourselves. Let's look at this mechanical marvel in all its glory, apart from its flat front tyre, which looks a bit sad. If I back the ignition off a little, smoke has settled down now. I deliberately put an overly large quantity of oil into the crankcase when I rebuilt the engine, so there'd be plenty of oil in there to get flung about when I started it up, because I wasn't taking any chances. I didn't want this thing seizing up or doing damage after all the work I'd done on it. So it's obviously used up some of that now. The oil pump is actually set on number 2 at the moment. Might turn that back up to number 3 now things have settled down. The bike itself is faultless there, really. I might have bungled 1 or 2 gear changes and the front tyre went down, but you can't blame the bike for any of that. Listen to that, that's music that is, isn't it? Well, I'm more than happy with that. Everything worked fine. The gears, it's only got a 3-speed gearbox. Once you're in top gear and you've got the room to manoeuvre, it doesn't seem to be phased by hills. It went all the way up that climb towards the next village in top gear effortlessly. I don't imagine it would be overly fast, flat out. It's made and probably geared as well for a sidecar. Nice pleasant machine to ride. Nice and relaxed, but probably not something you want to be out in among all the city traffic on, I wouldn't think, but yeah, lovely. I'm glad to have been a part of this one's story and brought it back to life and enjoy that little ride on it, and might possibly venture further on it at some time in the future. We'll see how we go.